control to fleet, set flight pattern.
To many, science fiction is more fiction than science. But as a kid, Kobe Boykins didn't merely get his entertainment from the sci-fi genre. He got his future.
And then I watched Star Trek. Anybody ever watch Star Trek? Right? I watched Star Trek, and the first time I watched Star Trek, I was thinking, oh, I want to be the guy that everybody comes to and asks questions about. You know, like in the original Star Trek, it was Scotty, and then in the Next Generation, it was Geordi LaForge, right? Remember Geordi with the little visor thing over his eyes? It was like, hey, Geordi, we need more power. And he's like, I'm doing all I can, Captain. You know, the dilithium crystals are breaking down, whatever it was. But so that was sort of, I was like, oh, I want to be that guy. I want to design and build space vehicles.
As it turns out, Kobe's youthful fantasy was really no fantasy at all, because he was determined to make it his reality.
Went to school in upstate New York at a small school called Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, where I studied mechanical engineering. One of those things that people don't know about me is I actually played hockey. And so RPI has a Division I hockey team. So I actually left the Division I hockey team during a championship season, by the way. We actually won the championship that year. And I came out here to work as a student. And so my very first cooperative education program was working on Mars Pathfinder.
Since then, Kobe has helped engineer several more spacecraft with missions to Mars, and he continues to set his sights on the red planet, even if only from afar.
If you had the chance to go to Mars, would you go?
There's parts of me that really want to go and explore it and stand there. You know, like the rovers that I feel so much part of, they're like my children. It'd be really nice to be able to stand there and see that. I mean, you know, some days I'm like, yeah, I would go in an instant. I would be on that ship. And other days I'm thinking, oh, I don't know, I might stay at home. And, you know, I really honestly don't know. Could I be the engineer on the ship and go, yes, we got more power, Captain?
Besides impersonating characters from Star Trek, science fiction appears in Kobe's work in other ways, too.
You know, I mean, I remember when I was young, we were supposed to have flying cars, and it's the Jetsons, you know, and you hit a button and the car folds up into a, you know, a briefcase. And that, when I first got here, one of the things we worked on is a rover that could fold up into a briefcase, right? And so, you know, it's some of that science fiction trying to become science fact. You know, in Star Trek, they talk about warp drive. You know, and there's people that are working on warp drive, going faster than the speed of light. Einstein would say, oh, that's impossible. But there's probability, and when you go into the higher level math, maybe it's possible. And that, you know,
finding inspiration in science fiction has stuck with Kobe since childhood, as has his pure passion for science.
Kobe is just absolutely wild. He makes learning so much fun, and he seemed just as excited as we were when we drove the rover. He was jumping up and down, like all excited about it, just like we were. It was so much fun.
Okay.
So although Kobe takes his job seriously, he doesn't take himself too seriously.
He had a great sense of humor, and he was a really, really funny guy to hang around.
Kobe is hoping his sense of fun and enthusiasm for science remains with the Argos, so that the next generation will, much like Kobe, make possible tomorrow what seems impossible today.
Seeing Kiana's response, or Maggie's response, or Aubrey's response to driving a rover, how excited they were to do that type of activity with me, sort of reinvigorates me, and it makes me so ready for the next generation to come, and that I'm sort of inspired by them, and I'll be looking after these Argonauts to see where they end up.
The Jason Project. Start your expedition at jason.org.